I've come to points in my life where I had to choose between faith and fear. I grew up in a small town called Canton, and it's way upstate in New York, and I attended a church there when I was 12 years old. It's called Lisbon Wesleyan Church, and that was about 20 minutes away. It was there that I discovered the need for a personal relationship with Christ. At the age of 14, God called me to youth ministry, and He gave me this deep passion for youth. And it was then that I answered the call to youth ministry. 4 years later, I went to Indiana Wesleyan University, and there I studied youth ministry and leadership. And while I was there, after my junior year, I felt called to go on a short-term mission trip to Budapest, Hungary. While I was there, I remember very vividly sitting down with my team, and I was just really questioning what God's will was for my life. He was starting to point out something in me that wasn't truly surrendered to Him. You see, I always told God that I was willing to go wherever He wanted me to go. But there was this part of me that had a picture of the United States in my mind, and I realized that I really wasn't willing to go wherever He wanted me to go. God told me then, you know, Becky, I could really use you elsewhere in the world. And as I began to pray and seek His will for my life, He led me to Global Partners. In 2011, I graduated from Indiana Wesleyan, and I was hired here at Brookhaven Wesleyan Church to continue helping with the youth. And I remember one night speaking to them, and I shared this analogy about a butterfly and how we become a new creation as Christians. The old is gone, the new has come. And just 2 weeks later, I went to Fairmount Family Camp. And Family Camp is when all the district churches come together, and it's a time of camping and worshiping all week long. And I came to Family Camp because I really wanted to seek God's will for my life, and I was hoping that during this week He would show me more of what His plan was for me. It was really discouraging, though, after a while, that service after service, I still didn't really know why I was there, and I was wondering, is God going to show me what His plan is for me? It wasn't until the last service that I sat down at the pew, and I knew right before the speaker was even talking that God was calling me to go to the altar. And when I got to the altar, I just had to lay down my past hurts, my past regrets, and all of my burdens. And God did something in me that day that I can't really explain. I know that as people were praying for me, they prayed that the Holy Spirit would fill me and that I would be refreshed in my own spirit. And as I got up and I walked back to my seat, on the pew was my Bible. And on my Bible was a butterfly. And God knew that I would understand. And I remember looking at the butterfly on my Bible, and I picked up my Bible and I looked at it, and God clearly spoke to me. He said, Becky, you are a new creation. Now spread your wings and fly. And the butterfly took flight right at that moment. When I was interviewed by Global Partners, they told me about the Wesleyan Church of Poland. They began praying and seeking God's will for their church, and they felt called to pray every week. I think about that. That was July, the very same time God was working in Poland, He was working in my heart at Family Camp. I would love to have you as one of my partners, and here are some ways that we can join in this partnership. God still uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Now let's do something extraordinary.